Hi guys, and welcome back to Belle's Books. Today I'm going to be showing you how to annotate a quotation for an English essay or for studying for an English exam. Before we get started, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, follow my Instagram at Belle's Books, and check out my website www.bellsbooks.co.uk. So as I said, I'm going to be showing you how to annotate a quotation from a book today, and the book I've chosen is The Great Gatsby, so I've just picked one of the most iconic quotes. I'm going to read that to you now. He knew that when he kissed this girl and forever wed his unutterable vision to her perishable breath, his mind would never romp again like the mind of God. So he waited, listening for a moment longer to the tuning fork that had been struck upon a star. Then he kissed her. At his lips' touch, she blossomed for him like a flower, and the incarnation was complete. So when I annotate any quote, I like to go through with a highlighter and just kind of highlight or circle the words that really stand out to me. And these might be words that are interesting, or phrases that seem significant, or even just ones which seem especially beautiful that I really enjoy. So that's what I'm doing right here. I'd recommend starting this way because if you can figure out what makes the passage special, then your annotating will get much easier. So now we get into step 2, noticing and talking about literary features that I identify in the passage. You can see I've noticed a simile, a metaphor, another simile, and I just kind of go through and I look for things like this because once I've identified the literary features, I can then figure out the effect they have on the reader, which allows me to determine how I'm going to best write about this quotation. So then I start to write down other things I notice. I notice there are lots of adjectives. This means that this passage is descriptive. I notice that there's an implication of a soundscape. My mind imagines a sound. There's also this word, and I didn't know what incarnation meant. I knew approximately what it meant, but I wrote down the exact definition so that if I wanted to talk about that word, I'd be more precise in doing so. There's no harm in not knowing what a word means, but if you have the opportunity to learn, it's always good to do it, especially if you're going to be writing about that word in particular. Here I'm just going through and writing down some more thoughts of mine. After this, I went ahead and identified the key idea of the passage. I decided, since both the girl and the man seemed to experience some kind of change during the course of the passage, that the key idea was thus a transformation. Identifying a key idea from a passage is really important if you're writing an essay, whether that's for coursework or for an exam. Your key idea might turn into your argument, so you might argue that this quotation exemplifies the transformation that Daisy and Gatsby undergo together, and you might write an essay about that. Importantly, identifying the key idea before you get very far into annotating means that you can search for things, for quotes, and for specific words and devices that support your argument. So now I'm just going to go through and I'm going to take a different coloured pen and I'm going to make comments on things that I think are significant. I'm looking for ways that I, the reader, was affected by this passage and thoughts I had because of it. I'm considering how the different devices and literary techniques shape my reading experience. I continued this process with a different coloured pen, mostly because I got bored of the blue one. I thought it might be helpful to describe an example of the significances I'm talking about. So this word incarnation I noticed before, I was really intrigued by it and I found that it had the effect on me of making the transformation that the couple undergoes all the more magical. So I wrote down this effect. I wrote down which parts of the passage seemed serious and which seemed playful. I wrote down the connotations of different words. The reason this is so important is because it's analysing the words and the passage and the quote that you're reading. You're not just describing it, you're thinking about how it affects you, the reader, and the impact that the words chosen by the author have. If you can successfully annotate a quote like this, thinking about the significance and the effect of various literary features, then you're going to have a really strongly analytical essay. After I've finished annotating my quote, I make a mind map. I put the big idea that I was talking about in the middle, and I put down all the minor ways that this big idea is presented as the spin-off bullet points. You can see here that I'm thinking of things like an irreversible transformation, a serious transformation, the man's transformation compared to the woman's transformation, how relatable the experience is. This mind map might be used to create an entire essay, and each spin-off bullet point could be a whole paragraph, or this could be one single paragraph about the different ways in which transformation is presented in this passage. The last thing I do is I just go back and I add in specific textual examples so that I know which parts of the text do the things I'm talking about. For example, the adjectives make the passage and the transformation seem irreversible, so I wrote that down. I hope this video has helped you learn how to annotate a quote and turn that quote into the basis for a whole paragraph. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Bye!